Hey guys, Creator Mom. I was reading in Neville Goddard's book called Your Faith is Your Fortune. And I wanted to just share some notes. So he talks about in like chapter 5 or 6 how creation is perfect, right? Creation is finished. It is finished. So what does that mean, right? I think that we have generally took it to mean that creation is perfect, like the trees are perfect and the way nature works is perfect, stuff like that, which yeah, I think that is a part of it. And I think seed time and harvest time, the seasons, but there's also the spiritual aspect of the seed time and harvest time, right? Whatever we sow with our minds, our thoughts, brings a harvest also. So, anyways, he says creation is, I wrote in my notes here, creation is judged as very good. Okay, and I want to pause for a second and say that some people say, oh man, creation is perfect. Like, no way, look at all the fucked up shit that goes on in the world and creation is perfect. Okay, well, so this is what it means. Creation is judged as very good because of its perfect ability to be the likeness of the consciousness that created it. Creation has no choice but to give you what you are conscious of being, and it gives it to you perfectly. So basically, creation reflects back to you who you are or who you say that you are, or kind of like the sum total of your beliefs. You experience, what and who you believe that you are. What do you want, Casey? My dog is like, she's staring at me. She's like, really? Okay. So creation, yeah. So it's just kind of like creation, the way that everything works, maybe like the matrix that we're in, right? Just the way this shit works is creation. So creation has no choice but to give you what you are conscious of being. Creation has no choice. And creation is also like, I see creation as also like our subconscious mind. Because our subconscious mind is part of creation, is creating. It is creation. It is the imagination. So it outpictures who we perceive ourselves to be. Creation has no choice. And that doesn't mean that, I don't think that means that life's events always go perfectly. But I think that it means that who do you see yourself to be? Like, do you see yourself to be like an overcomer no matter like what happens? Like, who cares? I don't care what happens on the outside world. It's always going to work together for my good. Like, period, right? Everything's always working out for me, period. So basically, essentially, that means, and I love this line of thinking because I'm like a really bottom line thinker. So it's just like, okay, like whatever happens, whatever, I don't care. I decide, I predetermine, right? I predetermine that no matter what happens, that shit is always going to work for my favor and in my favor, period. Like somehow, you know what I mean? That it's all going to work out for me. This could even go for like a person like who you think like may want to attack you or do something like bad against you, you know, like what I would say, personally speaking, what I would say is, I decree and declare that whatever so-and-so does, although they think they may be doing it to harm me, only ever just works out for my favor. Like they don't even realize it, but they're actually doing me a favor inadvertently because they can't harm me. They can do nothing to me. It's kind of like what Jesus said, like about like really how people on the outside look couldn't hurt him without like his acceptance or okay with that. I don't know. I don't want to botch that up, but whatever. Something like that. So creation has no choice but to respond to your I am, who is God. Affirmations or declarations or other tools can assist in changing one's consciousness, feelings, which they can alter. outer world. So what that means is that, so like a lot of people talk about the mind and changing your thoughts, like everybody across the board, literally Christians, non-Christians, whatever, like Joyce Meyer, right? The mind, right? The mind is a battlefield, because whatever you believe, you receive, period, right? It just like, it's as simple as that, really. And again, like, I don't think that means that that you're never going to have like so-called like problems, or people are never going to, you know, be mean to you or whatever. Like, I don't think that means that. I think it just means like how do you perceive yourself? How do you project yourself into the world? How do you perceive yourself, right? Like, it's not that, oh, I never have problems and everything's always like perfect. Like, no, not necessarily. And sometimes a bridge of incidents can look not perfect, or can look like, what the hell? Like, it can look like an undesirable like type of situation. I believe, in my opinion, because I'm always going to say that everything is a bridge of incidents. Everything is a bridge of incidents that's always working together for my good. So that is my belief. So I believe that if you're in the middle of changing a belief, right? Like, you're like, okay, this is a maladaptive belief. Like, I don't want to think like this anymore. I don't want to believe this. You're going to choose now what it is that you want to believe. What is it that you want to believe about yourself? What is a more resourceful belief that's actually going to give you the good feedback that you want? So it's not the affirmation, or it's not speaking the words that necessarily does the magic. It's how you use those affirmations and words to change your own mind and to change your own heart. Like, you actually start to believe those declarations and affirmations because you want to. You want to. You're like, that's it. I'm done with this belief. I'm switching over, and basically brainwashing myself into another dimension, another way of thinking. So the more you repeat those affirmations, the more they become natural to you, and the more they become a part of who you are, the essence of who you are. So yeah, it's not like you're speaking magic words. It's just that it becomes a part of who you are, and like your special like Care Bear power. You know, the Care Bears, like, go boom. That's how I see it. It's like protrudes out from your heart. So creation's ability to respond to man's conception of himself are good, even though man's conceptions of himself are not always good. So you can outpicture something like not good, you know what I'm saying? Like, so creation being perfect has nothing to do with whether they're good events or bad events. It's just about that the outer world just reflects perfectly who we are. So, yeah, when I was going through my time at the shelter, it was really interesting because I was trying to use and apply these principles while I was there, right? Because not like a fun situation, because it's like people are making noise at night and there's just things. So what I would do was that I would write down all my concerns. I'd have like a concerns list, because to me, that's magic. When I write things in my notebook, shit changes and shifts. I believe that. Like, that's how I kind of process through my problems or whatever. So, yeah. And then, of course, like, I do take inspired action, right? So then it just all starts by believing that, like, you have favor, right? Like, I used to get really nervous because I noticed like some of the shelter workers were just like not like, they were like not very helpful, or didn't really seem to be like taking like helping people there like really seriously. And I was just concerned, like, if I needed something, which I didn't need much, I tried to do all that I could on my own, but like if I needed a paper or a letter, I was afraid. I found myself becoming afraid, like, no, they're not reliable. Like, that was like my biggest fear. Like, people aren't reliable. People aren't reliable. That's like what I kept kind of like telling myself. So I had to change that story that I was telling myself, that people aren't reliable. And I just said, okay, well, what do I want? Okay, so I'm loved and supported. I am always loved and supported. I'm loved, supported, appreciated. and respected by everyone around me, you know. And I had decent experiences with the, you know, with the staff, right? And it's not like, it really isn't rocket science, to be honest with you. Shifting the way that we see people. So, and so to help kind of like shift our interactions with them. And of course, just like on a basic note, like if you're positive with people, like generally they're probably going to be more, you know, apt to do things for you because like you have a positive attitude. Like you're not approaching them with a shitty attitude. You know what I'm saying? Just like that's like basic common sense stuff. So approaching people like politely and kindly, but also believing, check out what records are playing in your heart, because I know mine was like, people are unreliable, you know. But I just started saying and telling myself that I am supported. I am supported. I am supported. I am loved. People are reliable towards me. You know, I always get what I want. So, all right, guys. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share. Creation is perfect. Like, I just feel like that could be offensive to some people, because some people might be like, well, oh, you mean to tell me like all these shitty situations are my fault? Like, no, not necessarily, but let's just take responsibility for our part to play. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take responsibility for any perceptions that we know that we have that are generally not helping us, that are frustrating us and not serving us.